Mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J. Mitch. We got Jackie Boy.
He tried to jump up, and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys would come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground, I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Chico can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's been with you 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Chico can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the Spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her and I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time for the show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like, they should
Players. Look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello. Welcome back to Mic'd Up. Today is Thursday, October 10th. You get back-to-back days of Mic'd Up because on Friday, tomorrow, which is the eve of the biggest game of the year so far for LSU, the boys we're scattered all over the place. And so we figured that this was nice to be able to, let's just do it back-to-back. The energy is starting to build already in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Traffic's starting to get bad because people are just showing up by the
weather's starting to get good.
Hundreds and the thousands, by the droves.
I was going to say about the groves.
By the groves, right? So Thursday is usually when everybody gets here because most people get here because they want to spend They don't want to get here Friday, have to rush to do stuff. So they're getting here Thursday evening. And then Friday, I'd imagine traffic's going to be awful tomorrow. But exciting weekend, a lot of energy. It's the first big home game of LSU for the year. We've talked a lot about what to expect for this game, so there's not going to be a lot of, hey, this is what we want to see from LSU. There's going to be some conversation. A lot of gambling conversation tonight. That's what our Friday/Thursday shows bring us, because the Mik'd Up Parlay is 4-2 in the last 6 weeks. In the 6 weeks of the college football season, we're going for 2 straight to make the record 5-2. We have a nice parlay in there that we feel pretty confident about, plus 586, I think, are the odds on that. We're going to get to that and explain why we like the picks that we picked. Our teams are out. Navy's off this week and Army's off this week.
No,
Army's not off this week. Army's playing this week. I did take them, not in the parlay, but on their own, just because I'm riding what they're doing. I love what they got. But got a lot of conversation, a lot of things that are happening. Obviously,
you're riding that. You have this phantasmal idea of Navy, Army undefeated.
And they're playing UAB, and UAB stinks. UAB stinks. So that also helps. Major League Baseball, obviously, still going on. Playoffs heating up. They've been electric so far this year. You have Detroit Tigers and New York Yankees are playing today to put themselves in the ALCS, right? They would be pitted against each other in the ALCS. Detroit, the big underdog coming into the postseason, shouldn't have been there. The team that shouldn't have been there. Now they're 1 game away from getting the ALCS. I believe that the Indians have not scored in like 20 innings. So Detroit's pitching staff has been dominant, and they have been doing it with a big bullpen. And then obviously Scooble is as good as it gets. But they've been doing it on the back end, and they've been doing it by committee. So pretty exciting series to watch over there, especially because Detroit's a great baseball city when their baseball teams are good. New York, obviously, also a great baseball city. You saw the Mets put themselves into the NLCS last night. The Yankees are going to try to do the same thing today. They are playing the Royals. The Royals are a young team, really good baseball team. The Yankees won last night 4-3 or 3-2 by 1 run. Giancarlo Stanton, who's been very much maligned throughout the course of this postseason because he cannot run anymore, and he's gotten them in trouble by not being able to run. Well, he stole a base yesterday, hit a double off the wall, and then hit a homer to take the lead. So did the things he needed to do to win the game.
Can he not run, or they just don't ask him to run?
I think he can't. He doesn't run because I think that if he runs, because he's
top heavy,
absolutely shredded. It feels like every time he exerts energy, he pulls something.
You think he can touch his toes?
No shot. No shot. I mean, he's a caveman when he swings. He just swings like a freaking club, but hits the ball a long way. He did it last night. Hit a double off the wall and then hit a home run to win the game, basically. Both those teams play this evening. 5 and 7, I believe, is when the first pitch is happening. Before we finish the Heineken headlines, LSU baseball. They are back. They're right in the middle or right in the start of their fall practices and their fall scrimmages. Go give them a look. This is the best time to do it. You go out there. Look, maybe you want to get out there early and you want to go watch them play before you go out and tailgate. Or tomorrow on Friday, go out there and kind of take a look. The weather's been nice. You get in the shade. It's going to feel real good. Not much humidity. You may see us out there tomorrow. We're gonna go try to pop in and look at the boys and see what they've got. But a lot of good reports coming out. We're going to get into some of that as we go throughout the show.
There's some boots on the ground reporting coming from Tiger Droppings. Michael Broswell, great BP.
Great BP. Look, that helps. That matters. Right now, on October 10th on Thursday, October 10th right now, great BP matters. It matters.
He hit a home run.
Good, MVP.
Josh Pearson hit a home run.
MVP.
Yeah.
Great.
Chris Stanfield looks thin but swings it.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny that you say that because when I was a freshman,
great BP.
Listen. And so we go there, and Javi Sanchez was our hitting coach, and he was throwing batting practice. And you would go out, and you would have good batting practice. As a freshman, obviously, especially early batting practice, you try to go out there and, put on a show to kind of show what you've got and, make a good impression. So he knew that, and so we're hitting homers and doing stuff. And as we're picking it up, and he says, "Good BP, Took. Now you can go home and tell your mom he hit 7 home runs in batting practice today." And it made me laugh. I was like, "Damn, that's a good."
Because I was definitely thinking about it.
Hey, You know what? You're right. The batting practice doesn't matter, but good BP. Look good. Just now you can go tell your mom you hit 7 homers. BP doesn't matter. It's nice that they hit some homers, but they're expected to do that in batting practice. But anyway, any other reports that are coming through? Pearson, other than Pearson and Braswell hitting homers?
I'll have to stay on the droppings to see the updates that come through. I do believe that Shores is throwing on Sunday, though.
Shores is throwing on Sunday. I believe that I'm going to be at that. I think he pitches at 1 o'clock. I think that's when when the scrimmage starts. I would love to go out there and see that. So that's good news to know. If you want to see Chase Shores back on the mound for the first time in about 2 years, a year and a half, you can go check him out Sunday. I'd imagine he's going to throw 1 inning or 2 innings. Can't imagine it being much more than that, maybe 30 pitches.
A player that Jay has said the most talented pitcher we've had since Paul Skeens.
Well, I mean, that's for 1 year.
The most talented player I've recruited, including Paul Skeens, not since.
Listen.
I'm about to say, didn't they get on campus at the same time?
Yeah. Let me tell you, Chase Shores is 6'9", there's 101 miles an hour. Right? Like, obviously Paul Skeens is generational, but Chase Shores has the ability to be that good.
If you want to be honest with it, arguably going into opening weekend, we didn't know what we were going to get out of Paul Skeens.
No.
But we knew it was supposed to be great. Like, that was the grumblings, and everybody was, you want to see the Friday night starter. You can make the argument that you were more interested to see what you were going to get on Sunday, knowing that Chase Shores was going to start on Sunday. We wanted to see, hey, we've been hearing about this freshman that throws 100. Right. Look, I want to see it.
Yeah.
So, like, that's kind of, you got to remember, like, that's who you're getting again, and he's healthy and ready to go.
No doubt. And I think that we talk about the recruits and the newcomers. LSU's number one newcomer team with the number one newcomer team of the year. That's basically transfer portal and recruiting class combined. I think you can't add him into that, but I think in addition to that newcomer class is Chase Shores. I think that was one of the bigger recruits that we could have gotten, is having Chase Shores coming back off of the DL. And you say, well, how is that a recruit? Because he's already enrolled. Well, he could have gone to the draft. He was a draft eligible sophomore. Could have been drafted if he wanted to. Was not drafted. Did not want to get drafted. Knew he could come back here and raise his stock. So interesting to see what happens with him. Looking forward to watching all the new offensive guys. Team's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of new faces, but it seems they're going to be exciting and talented. So go pop into the box and see what they've got. You may see us there. We're going to be out there. And other housekeeping news of injury reports for LSU. West Weeks, not Whit Weeks. West Weeks is out for this week. Anyone else is out? Kyle Parker is out. Who else we got out for this week? Because this week is obviously big week for LSU, but huge week for college football. A lot of big games.
Massive week for college football, but also a little concerning considering you're coming off of a bye week where it felt like everybody would be healthy.
Right.
But they did go full pads. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't blame them.
And maybe West Weeks got hurt in the game 2 weeks ago, and it didn't come out because Brian Kelly was an off week. Brian Kelly didn't have to say anything about injuries at that point.
Well, he did say something about the injuries at that point because I'm not telling y'all shit.
Right, which means he's not telling
there
anything.
were some things that he didn't want to talk about because they're trying to get him right. But the other one on that list is C.J. Daniels, who's listed as questionable.
You think he plays?
Yeah, I think that would be so he had a knee.
I think that would be a big one for us to have play because he's steady Eddie. He's going to go out there. There's another experienced guy on the outside of Kyron Lacey.
Well, especially with you're starting to lose some numbers here at wide receiver. No Kyle Parker. We don't know what Chris Hilton is. C.J. Daniels has been somebody that's played the most snaps at wide receiver of anybody on the team this year. So that's somebody that has been steady Eddie, like you said.
It feels like he's due for a big game, right? He's had some games where he's had 70,
big
80
third
yards.
down guy.
But he's due for a game with like 7 catches, 120 yards and a touchdown, right? I think he had 9 or 10 touchdowns last year, maybe more than that.
Yeah, I think he had 11 or 12.
Yeah. So
you
he's
see
not
that happening this week, or you just think he's due for one?
If there's
I could see it happening this week. I could see him going out there and having a game where I can see him getting in the end zone for sure. But I think it'd be important for him to be out there.
Super important for him to be out there. You definitely need him and want him on the field. I think you're probably going to see more of the same, though, honestly. We got a bevy of receivers that have all kind of put in, and nobody's stats as far as for receiving-wise is kind of crazy, but somehow our quarterback's still throwing for 350 a game and still doing his thing. I think you're going to see a lot more of the same thing.
Yep, which is great.
Which is great. Like,
Yeah.
you can't. It's hard to game plan against that. It's hard to know who's getting the rock. We don't have one guy who's got 60 catches and almost 1,000 yards already.
Yeah, they
And
do.
That's questionable for the game. So
Right.
yeah,
They do.
start out there.
And look, if you go look at the numbers, right, and if you go look at who's been the top wide receiver and top yards and catches at LSU every game, it's been different almost every game, right? And so he's spreading the ball out. And so I wouldn't be shocked if C.J. Daniels maybe has 5 catches, 85 yards, and a touchdown, which isn't like, oh, my God, he blew the world on fire, but he did what he needed to do, big third downs, and make a touchdown, have a touchdown grab at some point in the game. I'm not saying he's going to, but I wouldn't be shocked because he's due for one. He's going to get in the end zone at some point in the year.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So we shall see about that. Obviously, Wes Weeks makes the linebacking numbers a little bit thinner, putting some younger guys back into positions that they need to go out and make plays. Seems like Brian Kelly's pretty confident in those guys rising up to the occasion and doing that. So,
I do think that.
okay. Yes.
Well,
what?
I was trying to think. Well, Wes Weeks was playing. Like, I feel like he was as mentioned as anybody was after the Harold Perkins injury, where it became Wes Weeks is going to play. And now that he's doubtful, people don't seem to mind if he was in or out whenever it seemed very important how important he was. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So a doubtful Wes Weeks, but it does make me wonder what they do defensively against an Ole Miss team that likes to spread you out a little bit. They still run it from the spread, but I don't think you'll see. I don't know who 3 linebackers are now.
What happened? What happened?
He's looking at me. I'm looking at him.
Oh, man. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, look. Yeah. Javian Toviano's figuring to play in a little bit more into this thing. Obviously, Major Burns is going to be a part of it. Maybe they don't go back to having 3 linebackers. Maybe you actually kind of find a mix of being able to play those kind of 2 guys and be able to rotate them down in the box and kind of go that way.
So,
because once again, remember, they don't have a big back.
About to say that.
So if you
Yep.
really, I don't think they feel like they need the meat, if you will, to
The
be able
meat.
to play in that situation.
They don't need the Arby's.
It's curtains.
I don't think they need
don't
that.
need
So
the
like you probably need something a little quicker, a little shiftier to kind of combat what they actually do. So maybe I don't really think they need that.
I was gonna say that, right? I think this is if you talked about Ole Miss like going to spread you out and doing those types of things, and having you may not need to use 3 linebackers. You may want to have 2 linebackers out there and have a more athletic type of defense as far as covering and more versatile defense, covering guys in routes and being able to make tackles because of their running back situation, the type of running back that they have. That's exactly what I was going to say. So I'm glad you said it.
Cool.
Yep.
Good.
Yes, Lloyd.
I know they don't have the big back, but something that they do have is a dual threat quarterback who loves to run it right up your face.
Right, and they have Pegasus
They do.
for short yardage and touchdowns.
But that's what I think it would be interesting if you want to go 4-2-5. Like they've shown a penchant to kind of like spread it and then Jackson
That's fine.
takes off up the middle and then
But-
I don't know if that's what LSU doesn't have an answer for that. If they don't have, who would be your third linebacker? If
They don't have an
didn't-
answer for it, but you also like they're not trying to live on that. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
agree.
They do it. They do it a little bit to keep you honest, but they're not trying to run him up in there and risk the chance of him getting hurt because they do have 2 really young quarterbacks without much experience at all sitting behind him. So like they're gonna do it a little bit to be honest, and he plays that game anyway. He kind of has a little bit of a reckless abandon to him, if you will. So like they're not gonna live on that. It's gonna happen, but that's not something where you think, oh, for sure, let's make sure we have this covered because they're going to use this if they see that they can exploit you with this.
He's running it no fewer than 5 times this year. He's
Right.
6, 6, 6, 5, 13, and 8.
And I would imagine
13 and what?
2 to 3 of those a game are also scrambles. At least.
Right, so he's not. Yeah, he's not.
At least, maybe probably more, honestly.
Yeah, so I'm not. I think it'd be all right. I think that they're going to be able to defend that with a 2 linebacker look. It's going to be fun though. I'm looking forward to it. I hope that it's a close game and LSU ends up pulling out by 10 points and at the end of the game. I hope that's the case. I don't know if that's the case. We're going to talk about what our predictions are. But today is not always about talking just about LSU football because we talked about that all week. It's about talking college football. A lot of really good matchups.
Ooh, this is the big weekend everyone's been talking about.
Big weekend. Everybody's been talking about it.
The big weekend that everybody was scheduling weddings
couldn't
for.
wait. Committee couldn't wait to talk about this week. A lot of matchups, a lot of playoff implications involved in these matchups. You have a top 5 matchup with Ohio State and Oregon. You have a top 15 matchup with Ole Miss and LSU. And you got multiple other top 25 matchups throughout the course of the schedule, and you have some matchups that aren't necessarily top 25, but tough. You have Penn State going all the way to USC.
It's that time of the year where pretty much everybody is getting to the point in the schedule where they have multiple conference games played. So you're starting to get a real chance after this weekend to kind of see what teams have and who they are, their identity, what you expect them to be able to do going forward. So, like, yeah, it's not only is there great matchups this week, but it is that time of the year where you start to see more too.
Yep, you had the Red River rival, Red River shootout.
Shootout.
I always say
Pun on
rivalry.
it. Yeah, pun on that.
Yeah, Red River shootout. Texas at Oklahoma, obviously. Oklahoma, they are 14-point dogs on ESPN Bet. They're 14.5-point dogs. At Oklahoma, I don't mind that line. Quinn Ewers coming off injury after a few weeks. Is he going to be rusty? How is he going to feel? Is he going to trust the fact that, is he going to trust the fact that he's healthy? Eli Manning, Arch Manning, has been playing really well, and there's been some noise. I think Sarkisian and that coaching staff has handled it really well. But what's going to happen there?
This is the first test.
So you're expecting Oklahoma to cover there?
I think Oklahoma's going to cover. Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
The only reason I don't is because I just don't love. I don't love teams that don't score it well. Even in games where it's a rivalry and it's supposed to be good games, they don't score well. Texas has a great defense. I know what Ewers is coming off of and where he's coming from, but they're not very good on offense, and that's what kind of scares me in the sense of they need to cover and stay within that kind of stuff. That's where I would me personally, I'm fading it.
Okay.
Yeah, you still have the ideal of this is why I was wrong. But I had Auburn in that game against Oklahoma because they had a true freshman quarterback going on the road for his first start. This is his second start now, where he's going to I wouldn't say a hostile environment, but a massive environment where the game is going to be big.
100%.
And when you look at the other side of it, I think it's going to be, you can go back as far as Oklahoma with Caleb Williams and Spencer Rattler, where this is where Caleb Williams made a name for himself. They put him in first play he plays in the Red River shootout, he scores a 70-yard touchdown. So that's where I think that there's going to be a little bit of pressure on Quinn Ewers from maybe not so much the coaching, but a little bit in the stands. So they want to see Arch.
Yeah.
And especially after you got a small sample and he played as good as he did. I think that's going to be a little bit of, if it gets tough, you might see. I wonder how much Sarkisian sticks to his guns.
I don't think you see that.
So, and
Unless
also,
he gets hurt.
I don't either. And also, too, like, when I talk about them as, like, a scoring team, like, how many times do you think they scored 30 this year?
None.
Twice.
No.
Against Temple and against Tulane.
Okay.
So only 2 times. So when I sit there and say this will be they'll cover the 14 points, are you expecting Texas to score less than?
I don't know. I like their defense. I think that they're going to be able to go in shootout games. In rivalry games.
The defense could be great. My point is they still got to score too.
Yeah, I know. Rivalry games, I can see them doing something and getting in the end zone and doing enough to keep it within the 14 points.
Yeah,
that's what I like.
I don't hate it.
I'm not a sharp, but that's my feeling on that one. I do like it. I like Penn State at USC too. I like the USC -4. I think it's 5.
Deion Burks is out for Oklahoma, their leading wide receiver.
Okay,
soft
great,
tissue.
Cool. Still like it.
Oklahoma will be once again missing 5 of its top wide receivers when it
still like it. Fuck it.
He's not backing off of it. He ain't getting off.
Still like it. Someone else needs to step up on the rivalry week.
That's right. JJ Hester.
I'm off of that one. What else you got? What else do you want to highlight?
Well, Penn State at USC. Obviously, that Penn State's going all the way. It's the first big road trip they're taking.
Yeah.
USC obviously has been disappointing. They've lost 2 games that they probably shouldn't have lost. But this one, it's a 5-point spread. I think Vegas knows it's going to be a tougher environment. I think they know that USC at any point could be better.
Penn State's favored.
Right?
Correct.
Penn State's favored by 5, yes. So I don't mind USC in that one. I think UCF has a rebound game. Cincinnati at UCF spread's only 3. Obviously, you had the Hurricanes and stuff go through there, but that's Orlando. So, yeah. Any ones y'all like? Any other matchups that y'all are interested to see?
Obviously, Ohio State, Oregon.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other ones that I'm looking at, South Carolina, Alabama, I think is interesting.
I was looking at that. Is Alabama -21? I kind of like that.
With the -21?
Yep.
Why do you like that?
Why? Because Alabama got embarrassed last week, and
So
they're
did South
playing
Carolina.
at home. Yeah, but I think if you go pound for pound, Alabama is better than South Carolina. I think that what Alabama did and who they lost to,
How they lost.
I think they're at home. I think they're gonna take care of business. I mean, I think that Alabama at home is better than Ole Miss.
Do you look at Bama like a lesser of a team if they don't beat them by 21?
Oh, it depends on how the game is. If they're beating them by a lot and whatever, and they backdoor cover.
No, I'm not talking about that.
whatever,
Obviously, if
but
they
like-
backdoor cover, that's completely different. I'm just saying, like, if they don't beat the shit out of them, which is by 21, and you have that feel, do you look at them as like, maybe Bama ain't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think. Yeah, I look at them and say, okay, Bama's obviously not the same as they were the last couple of years. I mean, Bama's never going to lose to Vanderbilt, right? In the last however long. Are they a little different? Yeah, but I think if they struggle against South Carolina, I'll say, all right, I think Bama's coming back down to earth.
Who does Georgia have this week? Are they off?
Off.
They're
They're
off.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
I also like Clemson -20 at Wake Forest.
Clemson has been doing it.
Clemson's on their
They do
their
the same shit
they're on their
every
tour,
year.
and Jared said early in the year, and they're on their tour of like, hey, watch this, type of thing.
Keep doubting us.
Yep. So
You guys really like that 3 touchdown number, huh? That's
Well,
one
I just-
kind of stay away from.
Oh,
The
me
way-
too.
That's huge, man. I don't really love that.
The
one.
ones I've bet this year I've hit, and I haven't bet a ton of them. Like Wake Forest is terrible, and so I just
Well, we know a big one that you missed. Is it wouldn't even get the 3 touchdowns.
well, that's what I mean. I didn't. That's why I won 3 touchdowns. I can still say I hit it.
No, you didn't. I mean, it was 17 and a half.
What?
The one we're talking about, the one that was in the parlay a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago.
but that wasn't 3 touchdowns. That's
My point is,
You
it's
needed
3 scores,
3.
3 possessions. You need 3 touchdowns. Pretty much the same thing.
No, it's not. That's 5 points difference. 3 touchdowns and 16 points are 5 points. My
We
point
got
is,
spotted 5 points, and it still
I
didn't.
know.
That's my point.
My point is, all my 3 touchdown bets that I have bet, my actual spreads of 3 touchdowns have hit. The 16 didn't, but the other ones have.
Wake Forest is coming off a
My
massive
point to
win.
it, yeah, but say my point to it was that the 3 possession thing is the one that's like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, that's right.
You're asking a lot right
No
now.
doubt.
Yeah, obviously it's college football where those spreads happen more
Exactly.
often.
Yeah, of course.
But also it gets to a point where you feel good about it. You're up 17.
Yeah, backdoor
watching
covers
the game,
get
and
you,
you're-
right.
And like they're not trying to score as much as you'd want them to do
Exactly.
because they're up 17.
Yeah.
You're like, I hate that feeling when there's
Mm-hmm.
3 minutes left. Like they ain't gonna try to score, are they? Like nope, they're not. It's like a great win,
Yeah.
didn't cover.
No, I just those 2 games are the only ones that I have with the high spreads right now. Actually, there are 3 of them, only because I'm on the Army train, and I've seen UAB get beat by 50 points.
And the reason that you can't really, I could see why you would take Clemson in this because in their last, since I guess the Georgia game, really, they've scored 66, 59, 40, and then 29 against Florida State. So they're putting up points.
Yeah, but what were the points they gave up?
13, 14, 35, and 20.
Yeah.
So
So
defense is kind of locking in a little bit.
and
so-
Wake Forest isn't great.
No, but they just beat NC State, which is wild.
Which brings us a whole other conversation, which I'm not touching.
And they're
that
at home,
Syracuse
and
game.
it's a conference game too.
I got Syracuse.
Yeah, I like Syracuse too on that.
Yeah, I'm with that.
What else do we have on this one?
Do you have any feel for Stanford Notre Dame?
Oh, I do not actually, because it's a lot. It's a big spread,
What is it?
20 something,
Stanford,
21 and a half.
they've done one good thing, right, this year?
Yeah, they went over to.
They
Florida
got
State.
Syracuse.
Was it Syracuse or Florida State?
No, Syracuse. I'm looking at it.
Okay.
But that's their one win of the season. That looks, and then they got embarrassed by Virginia Tech. Now they have to go into Notre Dame. Stanford's just been one of those teams that you kind of keep an eye on that can keep it close enough to cover.
Right. I would definitely not take Notre Dame.
Right, because I still don't know. What
I'm
Notre
not
Dame
taking.
is.
I'm not taking anything on that, but I would take.
Notre Dame just escaped again.
Yep.
They're obviously coming off a bye after the Louisville game where it was 31-24. And Notre Dame has been playing these types of games where you keep playing with fire, you're going to get burned.
Kansas State at Colorado. Kansas State's favored by 3.5.
Probably the funkiest game on the schedule.
I like the over though.
That's what,
I like the over in that too.
Yeah.
I'm with the over on that.
If-
56.5. I like the over on that.
if it goes the way that the fun football game should go, it could go way over. It could also be a clunker.
And I like the over, too, because the last 2 weeks is you've seen the Colorado team kind of pick it up.
Yeah.
And if we think about Colorado as a team, you think, yes, they can score if they can block it. They're not very good at stopping people. So I'm like, all right, if they're going to score, if they can score, this should probably turn into somewhat of a shootout as opposed to being a low-scoring kind of like.
And who did
we
they
beat you
play?
in that
Colorado,
situation.
who they play? What they did stop a little bit? UCF, right?
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, so they
But-
stopped the
but they
run.
put up-
2 weeks ago.
But they put up like 50 points in that game.
Yeah. So they scored a bunch, right? But my point in saying that is I think that they don't stop a ton of people. They've kind of gotten better. I think Kansas State's quarterback's good enough. Avery Johnson's going to score points for
Yeah.
them.
Or he's going
Right.
to turn it over. But
Or-
that also
but
leads to
both.
points. Yeah.
That leads to points both ways.
Yeah.
So I think
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you're sitting there saying it's right at, 58 right now?
56.5.
56.5? Yeah. I mean, they put up 35.
And that's a spread that, like, you can look at it and, like, damn, it's only 15. It's only, 20 to 17 going into the fourth quarter, and you're like, damn, we're not close. That's a spread that you can get to, hey, 3 scores will get you that way, right? And that, that's what you saw.
What is the spread in this one?
3.5. Kansas State's favored by 3.5.
Yeah.
So the over/under is 56.5, but that's a number that, like, Colorado does that all the time. I mean, whenever they had the Hail Mary, didn't have enough points,
Yeah.
right? And then all of a sudden they got hot and they had 3 straight drives in a row where they're scoring. Like, okay, you can reach that. Now if it was like 65, it's like,
No, man, I like the over
Yeah.
in this one, especially where, like, once again, we talked about it. Do you see Colorado beating them by 3 touchdowns? I don't.
no.
Right? So then if we're talking about them scoring, I can see them somewhat keeping pace with them, especially if it stays anywhere close to where that spread is.
Yeah.
58.5, I think, is easy for
56.5.
them. 56.5 is easy
Yep.
for them to get to. I like
Vanderbilt's coming off the biggest win of their entire program's history, right? Very emotional.
that. This is the rat line.
Went through the whole thing. Vanderbilt at Kentucky. Kentucky is favored by 13.5. I am not
How
sniffing it.
quickly people forget what Kentucky's done this year.
I am not sniffing it.
This is
No
the rat
part of
line.
it. I'm gonna look. I may get a Pavia jersey and wear it watching the game because I'm a fan of that kid. But I'm not watching it.
You're not.
I'll never get a jersey for him. But it's a good thought because that guy, the way he played last week was pretty.
That might be his.
Pretty awesome.
That might be his.
Swan song?
Yeah, that might be his dying breath right there when his eyes are closed. You're in the casket. You're going away.
Damn, I beat
Damn,
Alabama.
I beat Alabama.
Yep.
I can go away now.
Yep.
And then he got a call from Johnny Manziel. And see, Diego, I don't know how much you can trust him after what I saw to handle this maybe the appropriate way of Johnny
I don't know if you
Manziel's
could trust
your
him,
idol.
especially with what you saw in Nashville. I mean, they're throwing goalposts in the river,
Right.
carrying it down Broad Street. Like, ain't no way he
He
was sitting
said,
in the
"What do you
house the
say?
whole
What
week.
do you say? Vandy's fucking lit."
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
It's Vandy. We're fucking lit.
Ain't no way he stayed in
glory
the
to
house
God.
all week. That didn't
Yeah.
happen.
My guy had a good time on Broadway.
Yeah, he's been opening up the door to the house. You
Those
can go- you can come
Broadway
in.
girls got him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's okay. He deserves it. He's earned that one.
Yeah, it's just
Sweatshirts.
go. All the swag's gone. Might take
Somehow
his cat-
just walked out of his
It's all
room.
my boys.
I
He's
don't
gonna
know
go to the
that.
equipment room and say, I had some friends in town, and they all took my clothes. It's crazy. They ran out of clothes.
Yeah, they lost.
I don't know what happened.
Oh,
He's probably passed
they
out.
jumped in the river trying to save the goalpost, and they were
Yeah.
wet, so I had to give them some new
I
clothes.
told him just take it home. Take it.
You're fine. I get more at the stadium. You're good.
Yeah,
Equipment room's got
He
some.
may have gone into the well of the New Mexico State stuff, like my old swag.
Yeah, see that kind of undercover. Like, hey, look, you're not that close of a friend of mine. Let me just take this.
This is
no
the
doubt.
original.
No doubt. Yeah, I like that. Ohio State, Oregon. Let's wait on that one. Actually, any other good ones that you like to talk about? Any interesting ones?
We
And
mentioned
what's
it
the
before. You
SEC
actually
slate?
talked about, but the Boise State line. Boise State at Hawaii. Boise State's favored by 20.5. And boy, if no one's watched Boise State this year, they have been doing it when it comes to scoring points. The running back's probably the leading Heisman vote getter right now if there was a Heisman tomorrow. That's an interesting one because, like you said, people don't usually score because of the travel when you go
Yeah.
to Hawaii. But, I mean, this team has scored everywhere.
And I will say this. Teams don't usually score, but when you have a running back like this, I think that travels.
Yeah.
Hey, just hand this ball off to this guy, and he's going to just run, right? And look, I can't imagine what his numbers would be like if he played in the second halves of some of these games. I mean, he's on pace to break Barry Sanders' collegiate record of yards and touchdowns. Barry Sanders had 2,400 yards rushing, or 26, whatever it was, and 37 touchdowns.
37.
How wild is that?
It's also-
Gentry's on place to get 38, have 38 touchdowns.
It's also wild when you watch him play too, because when you see his numbers right now, you just automatically think like, we hand the rock to him, we could drive a truck through the hole, nobody touches him, he's faster than everybody else. You watch him play, bro, this kid is breaking tackles, he's making moves, and then he's still outrunning people when he gets the chance to outrun people.
And the most
So, like,
nonchalant
yeah,
stance
so
in
it's
the
like you watch him
backfield.
play and you're like, oh shit, wait, this is kind of real. This is a little different than what I thought I was gonna see. So that's another reason why you think like, okay, this could probably travel, because I would imagine somebody like Hawaii is like, oh, he hasn't been hit before, and you turn on the tape and he has. He just doesn't go down when he
He
gets
just
hit.
breaks
Right.
every tackle.
So like, that's where it's a little different at. So
When-
that's an interesting one.
When do you think, because of that play style, when do you think it slows down? Like, you rarely see. We were talking about this in the morning show with like Leonard Fournette and his 2015 year, when they felt like he was the runaway Heisman winner 7 weeks into the year.
He played Alabama.
Right.
And
They don't
that's
have
when it
Alabama
slowed
on the
down.
schedule.
They don't have Alabama on the schedule.
No, but I'm saying like the inevitable slowdown of when you relied upon like this. Like, does that happen in one season, or
Well,
would it
like
take
he
multiple?
said, well, he talked about it already. He hasn't been playing full games.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, they've been able to save him. He's not carrying the ball 40 times a game. Like, he's not getting Derrick Henry type of
High school
volume.
run?
No, even college. Go look at his college numbers.
Yeah.
He was getting the ball 35, 40 times a game. He's not getting that. So, I'm not sure that it's actually going to slow down. Like, I do think this has a chance to,
Now, maybe
to continue
his-
to be a thing. And here's the only way it actually does slow down in my mind. If they run into somebody who's able to play ahead by maybe 2 touchdowns, 2 possessions, then it may change, because it's hard to do that kind of stuff when you're playing from behind.
Yeah.
But they haven't really run into that.
Well, here's the other thing: is like, hey, he's popping 75-yard touchdown runs, like so, like shit.
They're
Maybe
gonna
hey,
keep giving him
yeah,
a
we're
chance,
they're gonna
yeah.
keep giving the rock. Now, look, maybe the thing that does slow down is the yards per carry. I think he's averaging over 10 yards per carry.
He's at 10.9.
or something. Yeah, like that may go down even if he's averaging 8 yards a carry, right? Like that's he'll have more carries. So I think
Like-
you'll still get the yards, but it's not going to be with 13
I'm
carries.
gonna hit you with this, Lloyd, because I guarantee you didn't think this, and this is actually wild seeing this shit. His carries by game is to start the season: 20 carries, 25 carries, 11 carries, 26 carries, 13 carries.
And you just
He hadn't even hit a 30 carry game yet.
you mentioned 13 carries at 186.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You mentioned 11 carries, 127.
Right.
Like,
So like he, I think that maybe those yards per carry may go down. He may have to carry the ball 20, 25 times towards some of the tougher teams.
Wait.
But I think his yardage is going to go
you
up.
forget, too, the one tougher team that they played, who everybody has been saying that they've been building an SEC-like front seven, that's what they've doing. They've been building a line of scrimmage like an SEC team. They played Oregon. He carried the ball 25 times for 192. Still 7.7 yards
Right.
a carry.
Right.
Still had 3 touchdowns in that game.
Right.
So where's it slowing? Like, show me a spot on their schedule where you're like, oh, this is definitely going to be the spot where it
No
slows
doubt.
down.
With all
I'm
that-
I'm not sure it does.
With all that said, 20.5, do we like it?
I like him. I like him covering the 20.5, and I like him hitting the over.
See, yeah. See, and you like I'm not. I'm kind of indifferent about the over/under. I don't hate it, don't love it. I do think that them covering the 20.5, I do like that. That's another 3 touchdown spread that I like this week. But
He loves the 3 touchdown spread.
but you like this one with me though.
I do like this.
You like this one
I do
with
like
me?
This one. I think the
Um,
train keeps rolling this week for him there. But if I had to choose one or the other, I'm taking the over more than I am taking the spread here.
I am interested in something that not many people are talking about just yet, Arizona BYU.
I like that one too.
Yeah.
Because BYU is, while ranked 14th in the country, I also think Florida Tennessee is
I don't like that one.
That's a little wonky spread.
I want to watch it. I just don't like.
yeah,
I
no,
don't
I'm
like
not. No, I'm
any
just
of
talking
that,
about games that are like piquing my interest. Of you would expect Tennessee to be almost like a 24-point favorite against Florida, but Florida comes off a win, Tennessee comes off a loss.
Well, and Tennessee, look,
Yeah, they
Nico's
haven't-
really talented and really good. He just had some freshman bumps in the
Yeah,
road.
the last 2
so-
weeks they have not put up numbers
Right.
like that. Was it at Oklahoma and then last week were they at home last week? At
They had a
Arkansas
bye-
last
It
week.
was
Yeah.
at Arkansas.
The
and
last
then
2
they-
games.
yeah,
Yeah, Nico running out of bounds was tough.
yeah.
That was a tough freshman. He's gonna learn as he goes.
Clock ran out,
Yeah,
and then I ran out of bounds.
and then he ran out of
Like,
bounds.
oh, I guess it's
Game's over when the clock runs out. You
Yeah.
guys can't play. Yeah,
Unless you're Nick Saban.
yeah. But okay, I mean, I understand the 14.5. That you kind of like that because Florida did play their best football game last week.
Florida has
And
found a running back.
yes,
So
Tennessee's defense is really good, though.
No, that's no. I don't. If I took a team, I would take Tennessee. I think there's insane value at them at 14.
Oh, you like Tennessee at 14? Okay, yeah.
I just think it's because I think it would be higher. So just because of the way that it's set up with Florida not being maybe as bad as people said early in the year, and then Tennessee coming off of a loss, it feels like that would have been, if you looked at it, like I said, a 17, 24-point spread. Instead, you get it at 14, and a Tennessee team that's probably looking to expose some people again. So if I had to bet it, I would bet Tennessee. But with all that said,
I also took Louisville.
Arizona BYU is where I'm interested in, not only because
Do we talk about Cal Pitt?
we haven't yet.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that after. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm just interested in it because BYU is undefeated. And when it starts getting down to it, they're in the Big 12, and I don't think anybody saw them being
Right, and that kind of makes me nervous because BYU's always down for a clunker in a year where they get
course.
upset. Like, oh, they're 7-0, and all of a sudden you're like, damn, they got beat by San Jose State, and the San Jose State was 14-point dogs. Like, it just kind of feels like, but yeah, I like BYU. I do.
I'm on BYU in this one.
I do like BYU.
I like what they're doing. Looking at their schedule, I like the way they've played so far. Yeah, I'm on BYU in this one.
And then, what about you?
The,
You
the
like-
conference leaders in the Big 12 right now are Texas Tech at 3-0, BYU at 2-0, Iowa State at 2-0, Colorado at 2-0.
Wow.
Bottom of the
Interesting.
barrel is Kansas, Baylor, Oklahoma State, TCU, Houston, Utah.
And Oklahoma,
It's flipped.
And Oklahoma State and
really is.
Utah. Oklahoma State, Utah are the two favorites to win.
Yeah.
Even
And
UCF was up there.
And
Yeah.
UCF was up there too. Yeah. Wow.
And so everybody then Kansas was obviously like a darling pick because of
Because
the
of
return
last
to
year, but
quarterback.
their coaching matters.
Coaching matters.
Yep. All right, Cal Pitt. Oh, you want to keep going?
No.
You have
it's
more
good.
stats on that?
No.
Okay.
No. I just want people to start getting
Yeah.
put your ear to the ground on BYU. It's only -3.5.
Cal at Pitt.
No Cal Pitt. That's in the bet.
Oh, it's in the thing.
Oh, one of them is. Okay. Well, hey, we'll talk about that after. Actually, let's get to the bets.
Let's go.
Let's get to our bets. Okay. With all that said, let's talk about the parlays.
Second biggest game of the weekend, or maybe first biggest game of the
Probably the
weekend?
first bit. Well, depending on where you're at, based off of rankings, first biggest game of the weekend is in it. I tried not to put it in it, but I did it because I think we all were consensus on like, hey, we like this pick. So I'll put it in there. You want to throw up the parlay? You start us off, baby.
Oh, me. I have. This was.
He's on Team Greg Schiano.
That's right. I'm chopping wood.
Yeah.
Usually, though, whenever we come in here, y'all are here a little bit earlier than
Keep
I
up,
am.
keep
You're
up.
like y'all very timely, and the gambling conversation is rolling, and I'm late to make my pick, and I usually don't. I don't feel very confident until I see one that I can. I feel like I'm going up against the clock a little bit.
Yeah.
This one sat down, scrolled through the app, saw Rutgers -2.5.
It popped right out at you.
Fire.
Smacked you. You
Yeah,
didn't even see
exactly.
it.
But here's the problem with that. You're 6-0.
Yeah.
Doing the other strategy. Did you jump at this thing too early?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it was one where
I've doubted you on two of them, and you've easy covers for you.
And,
So-
I think it's more so I'm just trusting myself a little bit more of when I
Okay.
see it. I obviously did my due
makes
diligence
me nervous.
afterward.
You went
Hey,
after.
I'm due for one. It's going to happen.
If you go undefeated, that'd be amazing.
That would be unbelievable. But I don't think that
okay,
happens.
So you did your due diligence,
Yes. So
and what happened?
What'd
you
it
find out?
validated what I thought because I've been keeping an eye on Rutgers football a little bit just because I love the Schiano story. And there's always a team that kind of pops out to you. You look at what they've done this year, and you go through. They're undefeated, first of all. They've played a tough schedule in terms of you think Rutgers football. They've played Virginia Tech, won, beat Washington. That was a team that everybody was high on. Their only loss, not undefeated, is to Nebraska, but it's 14-7 against a Nebraska team with some would say a really good quarterback. On the other end, Wisconsin has not been good this year. And it was a team that people have circled. Maybe they get that offense going with an offensive-minded coach. And was it Fickle?
Luke Fickle.
And he brought the spread to Wisconsin. It hasn't really worked out. They've played WMU 28-14, South Dakota 27-13, Alabama 42-10, lost to USC 38-21, and their one game of the year that looks good is a 52-6 win over Purdue, who is
Yeah, Purdue
is 1-4. It's per bad.
is per bad. Yeah. I mean, Purdue is bad. Purdue's 23-point dogs at Illinois. Which I'm not touching that. But
Syracuse I do like.
Purdue stinks. Okay, put it back on there. So that's your
So
reasoning.
that's my pick. Yeah. It's
so you like Rutgers minus
it's
2.5.
a hot Rutgers team that is better than people think against a Wisconsin team that I think's inflated.
Okay, fair enough.
I like it.
Jared.
I took I like the Cal at Pitt over. I mean, I lie. The under of 58.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
This one should make y'all nervous.
I was the other way around at first, and I like the under. Now, look, I know everybody's going to be saying, man, what? Cal just put up like almost 40 last week against Miami. They did, and that was at home, and that was at 9:30 at night at a start where a team had to fly all the way across the country to do it. Now, Cal's going to be the one flying across the country to go play at Pitt. And on the road this year, Cal's put up a stinky 2 games on the road. They went to Auburn, 21 points in a win. And a loss at Florida State, 9 points. So they're scoring 11.5, averaging 11.5 on the road. This Pitt team at home has only played Youngstown State, West Virginia, and Kent State. Not very good. Cal team's a much better ball club coming in there, under 58.5. I think that's where this one's going to be a great spot to get because it's a huge letdown losing that game that a lot of people think they should have won last week at home. And now you got to travel across the country. You haven't been that good on the road, and this is going to be a tough one for you.
No doubt.
That's where I'm going there. Under 58.5. Go ahead and book it. I like Cal.
I like the under.
that.
I also like the spread in that. I also like
spread's not
the 3.5. The spread's 3.5 Pitt. I like that. Pitt's got Louisiana boy playing quarterback.
They do.
He has a reins. He's been slinging it.
Zachary,
Lafayette
right?
/ Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Was that Lafayette? Was that St. Thomas More? Got beat up by Walker Howard.
Who else did that?
Transferred to Zachary.
Rosenberg. No, Rosenberg did that too.
Yeah,
didn't he?
from
Barb.
Barb.
Yeah.
Zachary to Barb.
Yeah, Barb to Zachary.
Barb to Zachary.
Yeah. I faced Von Rosenberg when he was a freshman
At Barb.
in high school at Barb. And then
Okay.
he went to Zachary. So, yeah. Same basically kind of route then. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And this to me. Of course, I picked the big one, right? I didn't want to. I tried not to. We talked
This
about
was
it.
too pretty. This was hard not to.
No doubt, right? And we all talked about it. I was not. I was right. I was doing the right thought process. Hey, don't want to pick the big game. You know, a lot of money is on the big game.
It's going to be close.
I know what this is.
Definitely gonna
It's
be
supposed to be a good game. All this kind of stuff. I like the 3 points. Even though I know Ohio State is on the road at Oregon, I like the 3 points. I think Ohio State's going to run. Listen, Oregon did not stop the run against Boise State. I know Boise State's running back is the best running back in the country. I believe Ohio State's going to be able to move the ball, and I believe they're going to score. And obviously, Ohio State always has a stingy defense. Ohio State's receiving core is pretty nasty, and I believe that they're going to be. I'm not sold on Oregon either. I'm not completely sold on them. And look, maybe I'm wrong, but that's my bet.
Also, too, I think another part of this bet is the simple fact that you're getting it at 3 and not 3.5. Like,
Right.
That's a great spot to get it at. If you get it at 3.5, you might want to rethink it.
Yeah, you got the hook.
Get the hook. You
What
might
the hook
want to
gonna
rethink it
be?
a little bit. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
There you go. So,
Um,
yeah, I think that's part of it. I like that.
You know, I like that. That's a 3-leg parlay plus 580, I believe, are the odds on that. I don't think I have the odds on there, huh?
Yeah, 581.
581. And so, this will be, that's usually about right around where we're at. Odds-wise, it's either between 581 or 12 was the highest we had.
But it's not like we're cooking these books. It's the best.
We're not shooting for
Yeah.
that kind of odds either. We're literally just trying to find 3 that
No.
we love.
That's it. And I think we did it. I feel good about it.
Well, the only way the odds could go up is if we just added more teams.
Yeah,
Right? Because it's not like-
took some serious
Or
dog,
took some
like
big- some
dog
big-
money
yeah,
lines
yeah,
and
Yeah,
like
that's what. Yeah, but the way that we're doing it, this is a legitimate business we're running over here.
581.
Don't hate it. We'll see.
I like it.
We'll see who's the most nervous in the room. Probably Ohio State.
You think?
Oh,
I'm kind of nervous about yours. I'm not gonna lie.
good.
I know. I've been nervous on 2 of them, and you killed it. So
Love that. But I think I like that pick because first of all, we're all going to watch it. Second of all, it is. Well, I say that we'll probably be at the LSU game, but the only thing that I would say is it's at Oregon. Oregon hasn't played their a complete game yet. It feels like they've been looking for this one all year to kind of get fired up.
Hard to wait till this one to play your best.
I
game.
agree.
Here's the thing.
But you're asking LSU to do the same thing.
Here's the thing. Do you remember
They played their best game last
You
week.
remember Dan Lanning's speech last year when they played Colorado?
Yep.
Hard for me to believe that he's been keeping that in the holster for this game.
Yeah.
So he's been giving it, trying to get him there in that spot, and they haven't gotten there yet. So I don't feel like this is the one where they're like, let's go get it done.
Yeah, this will be obviously their toughest test. They played Iowa, which Iowa has
ball
been
club.
pretty solid.
Especially
They beat Iowa
defensively.
at home 35-7. Michigan State 38-7. Marshall 49-14. Western Michigan 56-0. Akron 52-6. So not great competition. Michigan State's Big Ten. Whatever.
down.
Iowa's been probably the better one. Iowa, held them to 7 points, scored 35 on Iowa, which I think is the bigger thing there. And so, we'll see what happens. But I took the Ohio State -3.
Both teams went into the portal to get a quarterback and feel like they may have
Swung and missed.
I feel like you had a better chance with what you're seeing from your previous quarterback.
I
for
think
Ohio State.
Will Howard and McCord, I don't think it's like
I would have loved to see the numbers. on the
whatever. Gabriel, I'm not sold on him right now.
Either.
I think he's played
He's kind of made
okay.
some
But,
bonehead decisions this year too.
yeah. All right. What we got today on the what do we have today in the ALDS games? Does it go to Game 5 on either one of them? You have Indians playing against the Tigers. God, the Guardians. Why am I keep doing that? They should never change the freaking name.
No, we talked about that too.
Who's
the
we?
Red River Shootout. I feel like this all came to a head whenever it was very popular to cancel things. And so, Red River Shootout became... I guess it's probably more popular now because you can't shoot guns anymore in the college football celebration. So, shootout would be
Did you see
banned
the one in
anyway.
the NFL?
Yeah.
With the Colts? Was he shooting anything on that?
I just don't think you could do...
Josh Downs? It looked like it was a first down.
It's a first down. If
But
you don't pull the fingers, but if you do this, is this dual pistols? That's just...
What if it's a water gun?
What if it's not that big of a deal?
What if it's a super soaker?
Kyron Lacey did
What if
this.
it's fireworks?
Yeah.
Right.
Pew, pew.
What if a t-shirt cannon? This is all Kyron Lacey.
No. Yes,
LSU,
now
baby.
the guy at South Carolina with the bad barrel control, that's probably can't have that. Probably can't do that one. That was,
It could have been a water hose.
that was a mass. That was not good.
But I do think that's you can talk about your Guardians because it's unfortunate that I guess you can't have Chief Wahoo. That probably was toeing the line.
Yeah. So what do you like? Guardians
I
or
haven't watched very
Tigers?
much baseball at all.
Who are the starters? Do we know?
I
who the
really
starters
do.
are? In this
I can find out.
It's warm up right now. Thursday, October 10th.
That's the real question. We can find out who the starters. That gives us a good idea of what's actually going on in this thing.
It is BB for Cleveland and Olsen for Detroit.
Man, Detroit's been a team of destiny, and it's been a playoff of destiny so far. I might take Detroit in this one. Obviously,
Yeah.
I like the Mets and what they're doing on the other side, and they kind of feel like the AL's version of the Mets. Remember, once again, we talked about this, a team that in May was, 11 games under? Or in August was 11 games under, I believe.
Yep,
they were
August.
sellers at the break, literally sold off some of their better players to try to get future stuff going on. And here they find themselves in Game 5 of ALDS. So, you don't see that often, and usually when you do, those teams make deep runs. I'm going to take the Tigers in this one.
All right.
We do have a situation with the Cleveland Guardians where they may have been cursed by a parking attendant. There's Ohio State from Barstool. His dad picks and chooses only a couple games to go to every year. He's undefeated whenever he's gone to games. Goes to the first playoff game, has a lucky parking spot he parks in every time. The woman says, "You can't park there." It's a free parking lot. I park here every game. And she's like, "No, you're doing it my way because this place is going to be a madhouse." Doesn't get the parking spot, and they haven't won since at home.
Wow.
Oof.
Wow. We'll see. I was gonna take the Guardians.
That's not your fault.
I was gonna take the Guardians because, they haven't scored in 20 innings, and I just feel like, once they get a couple runs, it's gonna be. I think it goes to Game 5. I think that series goes to Game 5. And I think the Yankees close it out. The Yankees take.
Yeah, I mean that's what you pay Garrett Cole all the money for. Like he's throwing, it's him against Michael Walker today. Give me the Yankees.
Yep.
Like they somehow were able to set this thing up. Garrett Cole is going to throw tonight. I'm taking the Yankees in this.
No doubt.
Oh, Garrett Cole doesn't do these well. That's a ball, Garrett. That's a ball. I just don't think that he has the gusto of a.
Well, I don't need him to go
out.
7. That's the thing.
I don't think he'll get out the third.
So you like the Royals
He likes the Royals in it.
to go to Game 5. So you like
He
both
was-
2 Game 5s, which would be awesome.
That'd be great for.
That'd be great
Do
for
you think
baseball.
It should be 7 game series. Because they've been great playoff baseball.
I don't. I like the ALDS being 5.
And it
3-5,
said so. Yeah.
7-7.
Yeah, I think what they did to change the 1 game
Yeah.
wild card to a 3 game series, that's huge.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's why I think they wanted the same amount of time basically for the playoffs. So to get away from the 1 game, you run into a buzzsaw. We give you 3, but if we give you 3 here, we got to take away and give you 5 in the next one, which
Yeah.
I like. I get
Yeah.
3, 5, 7, 7.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
For sure. All right. So you got 2 Game 5s. I like Game 5 for the Guardians and the Tigers. And I like the Yankees to win. All right.
I can't believe Giancarlo Stanton just doesn't have to run.
I just don't think it's not that he doesn't have to run. I just don't think that they'd rather him.
Have you
hit.
seen video of him running?
Uh-huh.
It don't look good now.
It's so crazy. But I know it
It's
just
crazy.
blows my mind that you're like, you can play professional baseball. It's like, but I can't run.
He's
It's
a
like, yeah, but you
DH.
can. I know, but you can hit the shit out of it. But it just look the way that he looks.
Oh,
It'd be
he's
like you would
a
think
specimen.
that it's not Mo Vaughn. Like,
Yeah.
like you don't have to try to beat one out down the line.
I really would love to know what is like off season.
Yeah.
Like what do you do in
Do
the
you
off
not
season?
do you just lift and not run?
I really don't get it. Like what do you do? Do you do any? I'm sure he does a lot. Like it feels like he's not doing the right stuff.
Right.
Like, that's just what it feels like.
Like well, that's what I'm saying. It feels like you could get to a point where it'd be like, we have to fix this. You can go harder than 40%,
right.
but it feels like he gets away with it. And he's
I
like,
feel like too, like for as long as his career has been and how injury riddled it's been, especially since he's left Miami, like you would feel like at some like one of these off seasons got to go by. You're just like, dog, I'm tired of missing games. Like I'm trying to play the whole season this year, and it just
Right.
I don't know what he does in the off season, but he has not stopped missing games. Let's just put it that way. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things. It's like, well, what does he do in the off season?
Right.
I mean, he's not doing Christian McCaffrey and trying to go to Germany to get his ankle spun up.
I don't think he took that trip. Yeah,
I
don't
think he's
that's
good.
the
That's what I'm
trip he
saying. If a
took.
coach says you don't have to run, not many people would be like, all right, no, I want to. He's basically playing slow pitch softball.
Maybe he said in his mind,
He
look,
swings like a slow pitch softball.
maybe he said in his mind for a long time, like, hey, I got this 13-year contract, coach. I'm on the shelf when this thing's over. Mm-hmm. I don't care where I'm at in my career. I'm done. Whether,
how
whether
much-
I'm still hitting 50 in a season or 5, like, I'm good once I get to that. Maybe he said that. I don't know.
How many years does he have left on his contract?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Are you looking that up? I can look it up.
Giancarlo?
Man, y'all know the answer. I was going to ask a trivia question. Anybody know what his real name, his first name was before he changed it? Mike Stanton.
I mean, that's that.
Y'all knew it. I just didn't know if people listening knew it.
He what? Whoa, 2028.
Ah, wow.
2029 is a UFA.
Yeah, but he's still got.
He's got deferred money from the Marlins until 2028. Also.
Yeah, he's got some money on the He's got some years. He's got 3 years left.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a lot of time though. When a guy who's barely can run down the line right
That's my
now.
point. That's what I'm like. I'm wondering if in his mind at some point he's just like, nah. When I get to the end of this is when it's over.
We didn't even talk about the Jets just now, but the Jets interim guy.
He's 34.
Hey, what are you gonna do? What's your first move? Well, he probably wanted to fire Hackett. Couldn't fire him, so now he says, "Okay, you can't call plays anymore." So he took the play calling away from Nathaniel Hackett.
Who's the interim?
Don't remember his name.
Jeff Ulbrich,
Yep, there you go.
defensive coordinator.
He said, "This guy, don't want this guy on the coaching staff. Can't do that. Can't fire him." Okay, he's not calling plays, so he's essentially just there,
Yeah, he's just Roger's buddy.
just there.
How do you think that'll go?
Not great,
Not
Bob.
great.
Can't assume that goes over very
Yeah,
well.
I just mean like how they're going to play going forward because I just don't know how much that's going to do.
I don't know.
I mean, it's got to be you do, and you're hoping for some kind of change, right? Like there has to be something, but
Yeah.
with as much power as Aaron Rodgers has in terms of calling the plays and changing them at the line, like how much does that really matter? Because he's still basically pulling the strings and doing what he wants to do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and do you run the risk of making Rodgers that much more, I guess, temperamental with your football team? Like, who's this guy coming in?
Well, I don't know. I think at this
'cause-
point, like, I think Aaron Rodgers is like, look, dog, look, I can't, you're on a stretch of almost 2.5 years of bad play calling.
Yeah.
Denver last year, there's only so much I can do when it comes to that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
but
I think,
what do you think that for what Saleh does well, which was called the defense, and he had a phenomenal defense with the Jets, that if there was going to be a firing made, it would have been Hackett first. And it feels like Rodgers protected that, and now you're getting the
Well,
play
Rodgers
calls.
says he didn't have any say in any of that.
Okay, yeah.
That's what he says.
I mean, you feel like that, yes, but that's not what happened.
I don't think that's what happened. I really don't.
I don't think he fired him, but people talked about it today, and I kind of mentioned it yesterday when we talked about it. I was just like, it's hard for me to believe, and I'm not saying that he said, is this okay with you? I'm not saying that he actually – it's hard for me to believe that the owner picked up the phone, called the quarterback the night before he fires him, and all he did was ask him about his ankle. Hey, it looked like you got banged
Right.
up a little bit in that game. Are you okay? Good. All right, well, we got a Monday off. See you in a couple days. There had to be some sort of mention.
Yeah.
Not saying
You would imagine.
and not even like maybe saying I'm doing it, just something that made you feel like some shit.
Yeah, how do you feel about Bob?
Some shit's about to change. Like you just had to feel like there had to be some of that
Yeah.
because it just don't make any sense. And like
No
I
doubt.
said, I'm not saying that I think Aaron Rodgers is like, yeah, pull the trigger. I don't think that happened, but it's a little weird.
It is. A little fishy.
What's the spread for them this week?
We have Thursday night football tomorrow.
Tonight.
I mean, tonight. Jesus
Tonight.
Christ, Mikey.
Get it together.
That'll
Get it together. Who do you have tonight? You have the
Niners
San
and
Francisco
Seahawks.
at Seattle.
3.5. Niners are favored by 3.5.
Home
Sitting
doggies.
at 48
It's so much harder to bet.
Dude, it's not even worth looking at.
It's just so much harder.
Niners on the road, favored by 3.5. Over under sitting at 48.
Have the Niners been, I don't think the Niners have even been good this year.
Now they've blown 2 10-point leads this year. I know that. So
Yeah.
they've been good. They ain't got it done on the other side of it.
And Seattle has been the sneaky surprise team of the year whenever, and then you have their head coach going to the podium wearing run the damn ball hat. So they're feeling themselves
Niners
a
are
little
missing
bit.
some people off the defense as well. They're the ones on the road. Division matchup. Hey, 3.5.
Yeah.
Man, give me a chance in this thing.
Well,
man,
it's
please.
It's like I don't even know what I'm looking at when it's
Right.
Seattle, like tough place to play. They're the home game in prime time, and it's like they're catching 3.5. It's like it's just a trap. And in college, I don't feel that way. In
Like,
the
what's going
NFL,
on
like
here?
what do they know?
Like, huh?
I'm not picking it.
It's too sharp for me.
Like you would imagine some team like Jacksonville that's not been great this year. Doesn't matter who. Situation is they're an underdog by 1.5. You're like, what's going on? Like how?
Any team can
How?
win any game.
Why we can't get 3.5 in that game?
Right.
Like, give me 3.5 in that one.
Right.
Nope.
Can't do it.
Not there.
All right. Let's get to the seggies.
Have y'all kept up with Lieutenant Dan at all?
He's alive.
He's alive.
He
but-
survived. Did he lose his peg leg?
No, but the more you stay in the public light, the more people tend to find out.
What happened?
Lieutenant Dan is not a very good person.
I didn't imagine he was. Lieutenant Dan in the movie wasn't a very good person either.
But this was a feel-good story. It was supposed to be. He has about a rap sheet a mile long. So he's been arrested 18 times.
Wow. For
And,
what?
One, he punched a cop in the face. Another, he tried to light a woman on fire with gasoline.
Wow.
And then
You think he's on drugs?
I would believe so. He's smoking a joint in this one. This is right after. And so he decided to,
Lieutenant
hey,
Dan here.
if I survive, I'm going to smoke half a joint. Pretty good. Hurricane Dan update. And then dig a little more. It turns out Lieutenant Dan has set up a GoFundMe asking for $100,000. He's nearly there at $31,000. For what? We don't know. He just set up a GoFundMe in case, I guess, if the hurricane displaced him, but he never had it with, I guess, the boat's all he had. So
$31,000 though. Good for him. He raised it.
can you cash in a GoFundMe if it doesn't hit the target mark?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
I
But
think you can.
That's just a little update on Lieutenant Dan. Everybody was excited about it. It's a good story, and I don't give a shit what he's done, but it was fun to follow for a second.
Absolutely. I'm glad he's okay. And prayers out to everyone else that lost stuff in the storm.
Yeah.
That was a pretty gnarly storm. Crazy storm.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So that was Mistake of the Day brought to you by our friends
This
at
can't be
Dozy
real.
Place.
Yeah, okay, good.
All right. Curtain calls brought to you by our friends at Perkins McKenzie. What we got? You got one, Lloyd?
Yes, I just had it. Hold on. Yeah. Curtain call to the good folks of Florida who are in good spirits. As you would imagine, they are used to these types of things happening. But be wary of going into your house because you could have a new pet.
Oh, yeah.
That would fuck me up
this
so
was
bad.
Fuck that.
But they don't care because I guess they're used to it. But
Not used to a freaking alligator. in
It's
their-
so big and it's standing so still. It makes you feel like that's not real. Can't be real.
and then there's another like this.
And it's a crocodile alert, too.
Yeah, crocodile.
crocodile.
Not alligator.
No. And I feel like if you turn around real quick, you're
You're
dead.
dead. And this is happening a lot all over the state of Florida as the hurricane displaced them. So they're showing up anywhere. They're on the street. It's like that old picture that you've seen where it's a shark swimming on the highway or on the interstate. That's
Yeah.
obviously fake. This is actually happening.
That's
Wow.
crazy. That's
Wild.
wild.
It's a curtain call.
Curtain call to-
dinosaurs, dude.
Yeah, they are. They're dinosaurs.
Lloyd, check your email. For those of y'all that missed it, there was a grand slam hit last night in Citi Field.
Won the game.
Mets win the game. Obviously, that wasn't a walk off, but
Right.
late in the game, right? Closer, Edwin Diaz.
Oh, you took mine.
Oh, you were gonna use that?
Yeah,
It's
that's
in
okay.
here?
I'll get another one. Yeah,
I didn't even see it in here.
that's all right. I'll get another one. That's fine. Go.
Closer, Edwin Diaz. He was on an unbelievable run 2 years ago. Gets hurt, start the year. Actually, was it World Baseball Classic? It
He
was
got hurt.
World Baseball
That's why.
Classic.
Yep.
World Baseball Classic gets hurt.
Is this trumpet?
Celebrating, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, trumpets. Celebrating his thing. And last night, he closes out the game. There's a video of him having some wisdom about things that have happened in the past. Hey, y'all stay off me, dog. We ain't doing all that right now, dog.
He learned his lesson.
He learned his lesson a little bit. He's like, I'm going to take this thing down a little bit. Chipper Jones would be happy about that.
Yeah, of course. It's funny how the Mets narrative is being spun into the old
Lovable Mets at
the
this point.
lovable Mets with the highest payroll in baseball. And like,
Less than it was last year, though.
Yeah.
You know, less than it was last year. They
who's their owner?
Steve Cohen.
Steve Cohen.
Steve Cohen. He also was quoted.
You
as
know,
saying,
you know the TV show Billions.
Uh-huh.
It was modeled after him.
Oh.
It was.
Steve's
he
very
was the
rich.
guy. He
If you
was
hadn't- if you
the
didn't know.
Yeah.
Bobby Axelrod in real life.
Oh, he's not the DA getting peed on.
No.
It's the first episode.
He is not the DA getting peed on.
But he said after Francisco Lindor has obviously been outrageous in the playoffs, he goes, I mean, is it not worth it now? Like, there's got to be no better flex than being like, yeah, I paid that much money for him. Y'all like it? Y'all happy now? Uh-huh. It's my money.
I love it. All right, my curtain call to the weekend of college football. You know, we got a lot going on. We got a lot of really good games. We got a lot of really good bets out there that I really enjoy. I can't wait to follow it. I can't wait to watch it. The weather's going to be amazing. Whether you're going to go to the game and tailgate or you're just going to hang out by the house and watch TV. Hope you got an outdoor TV so you can go outside and watch it. It's being the beautiful weather that it is. There's going to be great games all day. And that is it. The to-do list is to hit a parlay again for the second straight week and the fifth time in 7 weeks. That would be the goal. We've hit 4 out of 6, and we're looking to go 5 out of 7, which is a really good average, and make everybody some money. And if you haven't bet with us, I apologize for you.
Also, just sidebar, your curtain call is to the slate of games that is this weekend, right? We'd be remiss not to go ahead and say congratulations to whoever that really selfish couple is that's getting married somewhere out there
yeah.
this weekend. I know it's happening.
Oh, it's happening. Somebody I
on
know it's
y'all.
happening. Yeah.
Shame on all of y'all. Congratulations.
You know better than that. And I know when you were planning the wedding, your husband probably brought that up, and you said, I don't care. And he says, you should care, because I'm going to get married whenever you want me to get married because I have to. But all the people in there, you're going to be mad because they're going to be on their phones.
When you're dancing, they're on their phones.
Listen, I was part of one. You know the wedding I'm talking about, too? I was part of one.
Yeah.
I may have been the ringleader because of it. It was the 7 overtime A&M LSU game. And we're at this event, and we're watching the phone. All of a sudden, I had some family members there that knew the people at the event space and said, hey, the next door over's got a projector. Oh, yeah. So then I go there, bring a couple of my friends in there. We start watching it. Next thing we know, people are like, why are they going in there? Next thing we know, the whole room's full of people watching the LSU game. Nobody's out there while they're dancing. We got scolded by the groom.
How did I supposed to know it was going to go 7 overtimes?
I was like, listen to me. We're watching the game. I thought it was going to be over in regulation. And I thought it was going to be over a long time ago. It wasn't. That's what happens. So, yes. Look, you can't get mad. You can't get mad.
Guys.
Yeah. Yep. Happy for you.
Don't be mad when somebody's not looking.
Yep. Love is love.
I think that there is a very potent theory that the people that decide to do this and get married during college football, or certainly on this week, they don't want those friends at the wedding anyway. So it's a way to kick out your degenerate friends and keep it to her wedding with only her friends. It's not really even about you anyway. So
that sounds like a
terrible way to go about it.
Sounds like it's not going to go well.
No.
When we making decisions together in the marriage.
No.
It doesn't sound great. Right
No.
Well, if you can't decide on this, we're already off on the wrong foot.
Yeah.
Not good.
Like, do you not know me?
Yeah.
Do you not know my people?
Right.
You don't know what they want to do right now?
We can make an announcement at the party box.
It's all right. Good thing
5 minutes.
Good thing there's no wedding that I'm attending.
We don't have any, though.
Nope.
Nope.
So we'll be at the game, tailgating. Come find us. Look for us. If you see us, say hello. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all.
How's the ticket search going?
Great. I think I'm there. I think I need one more, but I have a plan for that. Yeah.
Okay.
One of our friends.
Like we said.
One of our friends of the show, one of our friends, he's got a nice little scheme he's got going.
Oh.
That like is gonna help him.
Help you.
Where it helped me, yeah.
Nice.
I say scheme. It's not really a scheme. It's just a
yeah.
plan.
But is it
It's
though?
a plan.
Sounds like a scheme.
All right, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you can't watch us, you like listening to us, remember to get your pods. Enjoy Thursday night football. Enjoy the football weekend. We apologize we're not going to be here tomorrow, but we'll be on Twitter. You'll see us. Come talk to us on Twitter. We'll be back live in studio on Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Mitch will be jet setting over there to Miami, but he will be here via video call because the internet's amazing in a beautiful hotel room. Hopefully get some beach views so we can see what we got going on. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We'll see you on Monday. Enjoy the weekend. Peace.